The resignation has not been made public yet. Abramovich is better known in the West as the multi-millionaire owner of Chelsea Football Club. He was governor of Chukotka for 8 years and put his own money towards raising living standards in what had been one of Russia's poorest regions. The president has already appointed a new acting head of the region, Roman Kopin. And now to discuss this news, we're joined live by our political commentator, Peter Lavelle. Peter, thanks for joining us on this unexpected issue. Was that a surprise for you?
Yes and no. I mean, Mr. Abramovich is always full of surprises for us, a very interesting character we all know. But over the years, we've heard that he's ready to move on. He's done what he wanted to do in that region. Very, very poor, as you pointed out. So he basically says he's accomplished his mission, but he's a very young man and he's a multi-billionaire. So I think we're going to hear a whole lot more about him.
How would you characterize the general attitude to Abramovich here in Russia?
I think it's very mixed because there's not a liking for oligarchs. He was part of that generation. But he actually put his money where his mouth was. He actually did something with it to help people. At the same time, he had a wonderful lifestyle that all of us love to watch. I mean, it's a Hollywood story, but very much part of the new Russia. Self-made man in some ways, not completely, but, a survivor as well. And somebody that is very photogenic, a very interesting life. So I think we're going to continue following this man.
In general, what kind of legacy does he leave behind him?
I think hopefully he leaves part of the positive legacy of the changes during the 1990s and, of course, during the Putin years, where the state can work together with companies, companies work with the state, and actually help people actually do something, where we don't have Yukos affairs, we don't have oligarchs taking their money offshore. I think Abramovich is liked for a lot of reasons. He's especially considered an oddity. I mean, we're looking at pictures of him right here. I mean, a very young man, amazing kind of friendships he's been able to develop, different kind of connections. Chelsea football, I mean, you get half the world listening to you if you own Chelsea. So a very interesting legacy, and I'm sure we're going to hear more details about his resignation in the next couple of hours.
What kind of lasting impression does he leave behind him as a governor?
I think as a governor is that he really put a lot of his own money and time into developing the region. We always think of him living in London, but he actually was there in the Far East actually doing something, and he's adored in that part of the world, brought up education levels, infrastructure very important, and while preserving the environment, which is important to us all today. So I think that's going to be his legacy, but he's not even halfway done yet. I think we're going to hear a lot more from him.
Do you have any idea how this resignation will be perceived in the Western media?
Well, they're not going to they don't really think of him as a governor. Okay, they think of him as marrying beautiful women and being a billionaire and owning Chelsea. I think that's it. And plus being a close friend of former President Putin. I think that's the perception. It may change as his career goes on.
Well, let's wait and see. Thank you very much, Peter, for your analysis. Thank you very much. That was Peter Lavelle, our political commentator here on our team.